Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Webcast Wednesday 11. My name is Kieran Swale. I'm a Tourism Innovation Specialist at Southern Regional College, and today we're looking at introduction to podcasting and introduction into using AI. This was created, the content for this, with my colleague Simon Kennedy. Simon's a lecturer in travel and tourism at SRC. Unfortunately, Simon's unable to be with us just at this moment in time, and but Simon and I have worked together on this. So, if you're thinking about starting a podcast, I thought it'd be useful to have a little mind map. So, introduction to podcasting, why would you bother? Plan your content, record on the phone, recording on the go. If you were recording in a studio or in a home studio, recording with an all in one package. What about editing? You need to create an intro and an outro. Where are you going to host your package? And then what's the music? And in here would be a section on AI, which I'm going to come on to shortly. There's been real growth in podcasting in the UK and Ireland, certainly in my area in travel and tourism. Great opportunity for podcasts to have your own voice, your own brand. What I like about it is you're in control. Examples here from the Gathering Heritage in County Louth podcast, Travel with Brack Tours, one of our clients at SRC. Longing for Ireland is the Tourism Ireland podcast, and then Travelling in Ireland. I like these ones here. Also, the Travel Jump, the Travel Adventure, the Armchair Explorer, and the Travel Diaries. As I say, there's a real growth in podcasting, and a study from Reuters this year, the study of journalism, highlighted that found that almost half of Irish people, around 46%, are podcast listeners in 2024. In the UK, is around half of UK adults have tried podcasts. The regular monthly listenership in 2024 is estimated to be around 32%. Core weekly visitors between 22 and 25%. So podcasting is definitely on the rise, and it's here to stay. And you can listen to podcasts anywhere. There's lots of things you can discover. I like there's no commercials in it. You listen to podcasts in your own time. It's your choice to do that. And on the bus, on the train, while you're out for a walk, while you're going to work, maybe on the bike, even whatever you're doing, you can go as you please and listen to your podcasts. I like this one here, the amateur travel one. And the reason I like it is these orange dots represent a podcast of the destination. You can scroll in on the Google Earth and see, hear and listen, and some video content as well on that. Great example of how Google Earth and Google Maps can be used to promote a podcast. You've got to think about your topic. What is it you're gonna talk about? You need to organize that. Plan your length and your structure. For me, between 30 minutes and 45 minutes is ideal. And give a bit of thought to the name of your podcast. And I'll come on to some tools, but it's important that you get specific when you're looking at podcasting. Who's going to be the narrator? What's his or her role? What's the ideas for the beginning and the end of the podcast? Who are you going to interview? When, where is that going to be in studio? Is it going to be on the go? Is it going to be in your home studio? Is it going to be a panel discussion? If so, you're going to have a facilitator. These are all questions. And the type of music. The music will set the theme and the brand of the podcast. I started off podcasting on the go on this little app called Voice Recorder Pro with an iPhone 10 and a clip mic. That's where I started. That was clip mic on my shirt. There's it there, and that's the Voice Recorder Pro app. And then you can also, there's two little lavalier wireless mics that you can have, not that expensive. The next little video highlights the
One of the
Voice
simplest
Recorder
ways
Pro app.
of starting to podcast is to use a app on your phone. In this case, this is the Voice Recorder Pro app that I'm using, and I'm going into this is on an iPhone 10, and there we have the dashboard there. I have a clip-in mic that you can see here. The microphone is clipped to my jacket, and I am now just going to hit record. And it's asking me what do I want to do in the new recording. Yep, hit record. And that's me now starting to record, and you can see that I'm doing a testing, 1 2 1 2, testing. If I hit stop, and then there's a number of things that I can do. It's going to process. I can send that file on to by email, by SMS, to my Drive box, to a OneDrive, etc. And that is Voice Recorder Pro. That's an iPhone 10 I'm using there, but there's also an equivalent of that on Android as well, and that's a very, very good starting point if you want to get into podcasting. Hello and welcome to tomorrow's Visitors Podcast. My name is Kieran Swale. One of the simplest ways of
So, hope you found that useful. Um, Recording episodes on the go. What do you need to think about? So, the one that I used to use was the Tascam there, and now I use a H5 Zoom recorder, and that's with the windshield. That if it was outside or in an environment where the sound wasn't great, for example, today I'm in the podcasting studio in Banbridge in our SRC campus, and the sound's very good in here. But those are things to think about. We'll come on now to microphones and what you might be thinking about as well. Um, One of the things that you need to think about is an interface here, and here you have this is a little Focusrite, and here's a Focusrite set with headphones and XLR cables. And that's called an audio interface. The one that I'm currently using right now is this one here, and this is the Rodecaster mic. I have a steady set of headphones and this microphone here going into it, and that there, this is this microphone. When I'm at home, that's my Blue Yeti mic, which is a condenser mic I'll come on to shortly, and that's a little windshield, a pop shield that I would use with it. So those are all things you're going to need to be thinking about.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our
And we'll play this
podcast
little video
studio
because
at
this is
SRC
where I
Banbridge
am
campus.
right now.
And this is our studio here. So we have worked with different clients to date in the last couple of years here, and myself and my colleague Ryan are planning to run a new podcast come September. We just wanted to give you a bit of insight. Here you have a specific sound room or sound booth, and if I close the door you get some kind of idea of what it's like. In front of me then we have, if you were say recording an intro or just wanted to do some high-end audio recording, you could do that in here. And obviously you have a microphone with a detachable arm there and cover, and then we have your iMac in front of you, and this is quite useful. I've used this in the past where you can put your laptop on. You can see your mic, you've got your lights here, your lights on and off, but the sound alone, if you were using, say you want to record it for Microsoft Teams or Zoom or some other broadcasting software, in here is absolutely, the quality is fantastic. So taking you back out again, and here we have into the, what is the control room really. So we've used this in the past where we've had 2 or 3 guests in. There's a mixing desk in front of us, that's one mic. We can put another mic in there, and maybe a mic over here. We've interviewed 2 or 3 people here. So here you have it's the R8 mixing desk, which is really, really high end. Behind me is another Tascam mixing desk, and then you have your Mac in front of you, and I have a laptop in front of you there. You see what I'm using as well is a Rodecaster, and I've only recently started using this. In terms of the mics, that's a wee mic that I use there, and even though it's on a Tascam stand, that is a little Rode mic, podcasting mic with a set of headphones, and they both go through this Rode here where my finger is, and then through the laptop, and that's how we record and how we capture the sound and the audio. And what we also do in here is from time to time then we might use the 360 camera, and we might record some video as well. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our podcast.
So this is what microphone I'm using right now is a condenser mic, and condenser mics are more sensitive. Sorry, this is a dynamic mic. What I'm using right now, and if you're getting into podcasting, it's probably dynamic mic's probably going to be best. You could the mic I have is right in front of me here, but you could have it on an arm and it can move. Dynamic microphones are less sensitive and better suited for recording in untreated rooms in environments where there's background noise. We have a wee bit of background noise up here just with the aircon. They're excellent at projecting off-axis sounds and more resistance. I also do have a condenser mic, which is a Blue Yeti one, better suited for recording in acoustically treated rooms. So the studio behind us, that's a condenser microphones are in there. So if I was starting off, I'd probably go dynamic and then move to condenser once I got more experienced. There's plenty of recording all-in-one packages. Spotify, which used to be called Anchor, Cast, Podcast, and Podbean, Riverside, Captivate, and Descript. I'll come on to them shortly, but these are where you can record everything on to the online package, and I'll come to them shortly. Um, When you come to editing your podcast, there's lots of options, and you could do 3 or 4 different webcasts on that alone. So I'm just introducing it today. Audacity, that one there is free. Adobe Edition I've used. Ala2 is another one. I'm moving now to Descript and Squadcast for remote interviews. Riverside and Captivate are other examples of editing software. You will find that there's a lot of probably investment in resources when you come to editing. And I'm going to play just not all of this. This is about play about a minute of this for you. Apologies on that. I was trying to play that there. Um, well, this podcast will be in the link that you can come. But really, what it says is it goes through the 5 best options there and talks a bit about Buzzsprout, which is something that I use. So you can come back and in the interest of time, I'm going to move through the slides here. One of the things in podcasting, obviously, is you're going to create your intro and outro, and that's going to define the theme of the podcast. It should be concise, should be engaging. When you come in to publish your podcast, you've got to think about where's it going to be hosted. Remember to improve your podcast by seeking feedback and experimenting with new content and staying updated. There's loads of places that you can look. You can look for royalty free if you type into Google or any search engine royalty free podcasts. I've used all of these on the right. For my own podcast, I've tended to go for Band Sound and Soundstripe, but you can go to YouTube Audio, Premium Beat Audio, Audio Notrix, are all podcast sort of places to look for sound. And then back to just to let you know where we're looking at
And it
on the
still is, and in
mind
fact,
map
over
there.
the last couple of years now, we've really been lucky. We've got a very good
And
head greenkeeper who
play that for you
came
for
to
a
us
little
from
bit.
Beaver, so
I'll
he's
talk
done
over that. But
fantastic work for us, and the course
audiograms
is
are
in great
short,
condition. And in
shortened
fact, just sort of as
pieces
a bit of an
taken from the
aside here, and
podcast,
like
and a very
with
good way of trying to
COVID and
promote
the
what you're doing.
lockdowns, and then
I
the
like the
use of a bit
headliner
of
app,
technology
and
and being
I've
able
used
to
that in
buy
my
membership
tomorrow's visit.
online
Really,
with our new
really
booking
useful
system,
piece of
we've gone from
software.
50.
One important thing to think about podcasting is you're going to repurpose the content and thinking about scheduling the content. Your episodes can be turned into blogs. You can use clips for social media. You can create your own YouTube channel. You can think about your podcasting for content for newsletters or for an email. If you wanted to write a book, you can develop a course with podcasts. One of the ones that I use is so I've used Buffer and Social Pilot and HubSpot as well. There's 3 that you can certainly have a look at. But that's the whole thing with podcasting. If you're investing all these resources, come back and schedule out content, and particularly if it's aligned to you and your brand and where you're going with the business. Again, there's another little video on podcasts that are on YouTube. You can watch that. You can watch that here when you get this presentation. You can click this link and watch it on YouTube. But it's really of the steps of how to set up your own YouTube channel, and that's something that I would encourage people to think about if they are going to develop their own podcasts. I've put in these steps, and then I'll move on to AI. But for me, I've made it like a 9-step process. You start off with planning your podcast, you record it, you edit it, then you add your intro and outro, then you add your music, and then you think about adjusting in audio post production. You've got to think about how you're going to distribute your podcast. You've got to how you're going to promote it, and then come into the scheduling and repurposing and re-promoting. Um, one of the there's lots of AI software, and one of the ones is Podpage, where if you don't have a website and you want to set up a very simple web page to promote your podcast, this is an AI piece of software that's very useful. And you're really going from scratch from no knowledge. You can try with a free version, or there is a paid version, but it is really pretty reasonable. I'm currently looking at that with one of my clients. I've put in it, I suppose, coming to the briefly onto the AI tools. I like this resource here from the podcast host, and they have an AI tools for podcasters. They say think of AI as a helping hand with the heavy lifting and the onerous tasks in your workflow. If you can free up you to dedicate more time and energy for the creative side of things, then podcasters and listeners. Perplexity now is something that I've used in the past and continue to use. Wix is a site where Sorry, Perplexity. Let me finish that. Perplexity is like an AI search engine. So you've heard of ChatGPT, but it's very specific, and you could type in, "I want to start my own podcast" on Perplexity, and it'll give you a lot of help with doing that. I thought I had the link there. I'm going to see if it's open now. Um, Let me see. Open the sidebar. No. Uh, no, you probably can't see that, so I'm just going to come back there if you bear with me a second. Um, So I have a link there where I want to show you. I want to start a new podcast on health and fitness about living longer, and Perplexity returned fantastic results for me there. Wix is another very useful AI. If you had an idea of a name for a podcast but you didn't know what you wanted to call it, Wix can let you do that. Descript AI is something that I'm moving into now, and that's really, really, really very, very useful. Um, I'll tell you why I like it. It edits the podcast in a different way than you would normally think. It edits the podcast like it's a working document, and you're able to replace the ums and the ahs in this. I'm hoping this little video here is going to play for me. Okay, well, it's not playing for me at the moment. I'm having fun today, but these links are, I promise you, all these links are embedded, and really what today is about is introducing these to you. Um, Descript AI, very, very useful. It also is a video editing tool, and there are many features in it. Comment to if you were starting a podcast, and I appreciate this is a short session that Simon and I put together. You're really looking at having an all-in-one podcast solution, and I think if I was starting from scratch, one of the best ones is what we have here in front of us with Podbean. Pretty reasonable at $9 a month, and you're getting a host of tools for that. Um, if you want to get the unlimited plus, but starting off, you wouldn't be looking at, and that's when somebody asked me, where would you start with your podcasting? I'd probably be going looking at something like Podbean. For me, like creating a podcast, it does take time and effort and total dedication, and you need to schedule that in. It'll take a lot longer than you think it will do, but over time, once you get your system in place, it's very, very beneficial. And I find for me, podcasting has opened so many different doors in terms of clients and in terms of the work that I do. There's a nice resource here on a guide to starting a podcast if you want to start your own podcast show. And that one there is taken from Podcast Insights back in March this year. I suppose plugging my own podcast, I have one called Tomorrow's Visitors, and it is available on Spotify. I'm going into season two. I haven't looked at it for a couple of years, 3 years nearly now, but I'm going to do a season two starting in August this year, and already have my first couple of episodes recorded. So for myself and Simon, I just wanted to say thank you very, very much for tuning into this webcast. This is the last in our series of 11. And if you have any questions, you can get in contact with us. My email is sweelk@src.ac.uk. I look forward to chatting to you soon. Thank you.